All right, everybody. Um, Thank you all for being here. Um, and if you're not here, this will be recorded for you to watch at a later date, which is excellent. So this is our ACOEP RSO mentorship series, which is graciously put on by Brad, our DOSA. We love to cover different topics each month, trying to aim different lectures at like ones through fours. Today's lecture is obviously directed a little bit more at our fourth years as we're working on like rank lists, and we're definitely like in the middle of rank list season right now. So I titled this lecture Love at First Rank. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Nicole. I'm a first year resident at Prisma Health in Greenville. I also have the lovely privilege of being the president of ACOEP RSO. Talking about the board, this is our lovely board. We have a bunch of excellent humans that have a lot of different positions. So for those that are on here, if y'all want to kind of jump in and introduce yourself, say what your position is, and kind of where you are either a resident or go to school, just so that you guys know the different faces of the board and the people that are making not only this online content for y'all, but also planning conferences and doing a lot of behind the scenes work to do a lot of the things that ACOEP offers their residents and students.
Hi, everybody. So I was already kind of introduced. So I'm Bradley. I'm the DOSA. So I'm a fourth year medical student. So I'm also in the process of matching right now. And then I go to Campbell University in North Carolina. I will popcorn it over to Dr. Turley.
Hi everyone, I'm Sarah Turley. I'm a PGY1 over at Henry Ford in downtown Detroit, Michigan. I currently serve as the past director of student affairs for ACOEP, and I will be at conference in the spring, so everyone should come to that as well.
Hi, everybody. My name's Emily. Sorry. And I'm a third year at Burrell College of Osteopathic Medicine, and I'm the GME chair. So I'm in charge of the residency fair. And to reiterate what Sarah said, please come out to conference. It's going to be a lot of fun in the spring.
Hey guys, my name's Ari. I am a fourth year as well, going through the rank process. Excited to hear what Dr. Gentile and Dr. Turley have to say. I'm student publication, so everything you see on social media. Right now we're advertising a lot for conference, so hope to see you guys out there.
All right, so in true fashion with, oh wait, there we go. So we got 33 days till match day, which Sarah and I were just talking about is crazy. And so rank lists are due on March 4th by 9 p.m. So that's 17 days, which is also crazy. But super exciting. So we're going to talk about some tips and tricks. I have been like pooling every PGY1 resident that I know and asking all of their tips and tricks on how they built their rank list last year. And then Turley and I will kind of open it up to answer some questions and go from there. So this is our Love at First Rank. The lovely Amber was supposed to join us, but she will not be with us tonight. But um, we were going to have three lovely ladies talking about how to build a rank list that you can commit to, thanks to the help of Chat GPT. Okay, so this is a clip from Harry Potter. This is like my biggest tip for building your rank list is that it's really very genuinely about like where you want to go and where you want to match. And so in this clip where Harry's being sorted like into the houses, he says like not Slytherin, not Slytherin, not Slytherin, and there will be a program on your rank list that you're like, but not that one, not that one, not that one, and that's okay. And that's why we're going to build your rank list like in an appropriate way to make sure that we don't really get to those not Slytherins that are on your list. So here's hoping that's how match day goes for everybody. But this is just kind of a big list of all of the tips that I kind of got. Again, the biggest things to emphasize to you guys is really, really ranking your top choice number one and not trying to play any kind of like ranking game where you think like, oh, I really want to go here, but this program really, really likes me, so maybe I should rank them number one. It's really hard to like not get into like different thought processes like that when you're making a rank list. But just remember that the rank algorithm really plays in the favor of the applicant. And so if you want to rank a program number one and really want to go there, and the program also ranks you like within the realm of being able to match there, it will happen. I had someone tell me that having good co-residence is the most important. So, like, as you guys were going through interviews and the second looks and things like that, like, really making sure that you liked the like PGY one, current PGY ones that you were talking with, or the PGY twos, the people that you're going to be spending time with. It is really, really important when you're like going through a long run of shifts or you're in the middle of night shifts. Like, you really want to make sure that you like get along well and feel comfortable around the other residents and the faculty, especially when you get yourself like in maybe like a patient situation that you like aren't very confident in, or you feel like you need help, like being able to reach out to people and like reach out to your upper levels is like really, really important. Again, trusting your gut, don't rank based how you think you should rank. So again, that kind of goes back to you can kind of get very in your head when you're building a rank list of like, oh, but I know these people really, really like me, but like I didn't really like X, Y, and Z, but I know they really want me, so I know I'll match for sure if I rank them number one. Like it's really hard not to have those thoughts, but just remember that like if there's a program that you genuinely love and you think you would be like the perfect fit for, you should rank that one first, even if you think it's like a reach or like a dream like opportunity. Like you really never know how the algorithm will work out. And if it's where you want to be, then put it number one so that it happens. Um, Prioritizing programs with free food, free parking, because not all do, and it'll save money. This is something I'm sure y'all have kind of thought through, like as you were like picking programs to interview at, and then kind of after you're interviewing, kind of building a rank list. This is more so like remember your priorities. Like your priorities are different for every person, which is sometimes why giving this like rank list presentation is a little hard because giving you like specific like instructions on how to make a rank list is really, really individual and really personalized because it's very much so based off of like what your priority are, where you want to be, what's important to you in a program, what's important to you after graduation. Like all of those things are very, very personal. So it's hard to give like really clear cut information outside of just saying like remember your priorities. Like if location is a giant priority for you, that's going to like really change your rank list. If free food and free parking is a big thing for you, that's also going to like make changes to your rank list. So just remembering that um like it's just most important to try to figure out like what the priorities are for you and then build your rank list based off of that. Um, Things that were really important to me were things like ultrasound experience, um, working alongside EM critical care trained faculty in our critical care like rotations. It was really, really important to me that my critical care learning had some aspect of EM trained physicians teaching me alongside of that. I really wanted a like hybrid program that had like the big level one academic center, but also had a significant amount of community outreach. And I really wanted a program that had like international medicine ties for me to be able to do like international medicine rotations. So like those were kind of some of my big priorities and things that I looked at in programs. And then also like a food stipend and free covered parking and stuff like that was stuff that I also kind of took into consideration. Um, just because it's like it's important to think of the things that will change your day-to-day life. Like while it's important to think about like how many weeks of ICU or how many weeks of electives and things like that, like when I wake up in the morning and I know that I have a shift tomorrow, the things that I care about is that it's a 100% chance of rain in Greenville and my parking is covered and I won't have to walk in the rain to get to work. And that I have a stipend so that if I want to get a hot coffee or lunch before my shift, I could do that without having to like meal prep something and bring it with me. Like those are the things that you think about in the day to day and not like some of the bigger overarching things that like you're told are super, super important when you're picking a program. The priorities thing also kind of covers the next point of like considering how important it is for you to have family or a support system nearby. So like going back home, going near family, all of those things are going to be things that kind of um, move places up and down on your rank list. And then probably my biggest one of the other things that I also love to talk about with rank lists is like vibes don't lie. If you were in an interview, in a second look, in some kind of interaction with a program and something felt off, it probably was. It probably was something that you didn't like, you didn't agree with, you didn't vibe with within a program, and that's okay. There are programs that you don't like. There are programs that you are not a good fit for. That's why there are 238 emergency medicine programs. And that's why everyone's rank list is incredibly different because if there was something that you didn't like about a program, that's okay. That's a reason to write it down, address it, and make sure that it reflects within your rank list. One of the biggest tips that I was given um, when I was building my rank list, because all of those things are kind of like gathering information on the rank list. And then you kind of get into this point where you're like, okay, I know it's at the top, I know it's at the bottom. How do I really rank like the middle? Like you have this like ominous section in the middle where you're like, these are the programs I really like, these are the programs I really don't like. And then you're stuck with like this blah in the middle. And someone gave me really good advice of like thinking about it in 5 buckets and then being able to like rank within those buckets. And so the first bucket is a great program. I would love to go here. And obviously, those are going to be your like 1 through 4, 1 through 5, like places that you would be happy if that came up like on match day. These are places that you love everything about them. You can see yourself being there. You're happy with the location. The second bucket is this is a good option. I like a good majority of stuff about this program, but there's some stuff that I'm not really sure about. There's some stuff that maybe doesn't match what I want, doesn't really match my priorities, but like I still like them. Then you're kind of smack in the middle with like, I would really prefer a lot of other places over this one, but a job sounds really nice next year. So you're like I kind of like you. I'm kind of on the fence, but like matching here is better than not having a job. And then your last 2 buckets are kind of this really sad, like would I rather soap than go to these places? Or like, is considering soap better than like ending up at one of these places? And so trying to like think of your rank list more so in chunks than like a giant list is also sometimes a little easier to break it down. And then like within your buckets, it's a little bit easier to kind of rank like against each other on like, okay, if I open my envelope on match day and it's this program, how would I feel? Would I rather it was the one below it? And if I would probably move that one up. Um, so it's easier to think about it kind of in chunks, in my opinion. But that was kind of most of my like tips and tricks, my big overarching tips. I don't know that we are quote unquote specialists, but we did do this last year with some success, I would say, Dr. Turley. So Sarah and I are going to kind of open the floor to anyone's questions. I know that was kind of quick, but again, it's kind of hard to really have significant, concrete like recommendations for building a rank list as it's really, really personal to each and every one of you. And everyone ranks it, everyone like interviews at different programs, everyone has different priorities. So the biggest things that we can really tell you are find out where you really want to go, rank that place first. Don't doubt it based off it being a reach or you not thinking you're going to get there. Like rank it number one. If it happens, it happens. And if it doesn't, that's okay too. You tried. You can't kick yourself in the butt for not. Another big thing for me during like this season of medical school was doing whatever it took to like make sure that on match day I like left everything on the table. Be that like writing a love letter, be that going to a bunch of places and seeing what the hospital and the town was like. I wanted to make sure that I had done everything so that when I opened my match on match day that I was like I did everything I could to make this list work. So it's really at this point about like what helps you sleep at night and what makes you not make any like have any regrets when match day comes. Um, so I'm gonna stop blabbering and ranting and we'll open the floor to like anyone's questions and let Sarah kind of give some tips and tricks that I maybe left out. And we'll just keep chatting about rank lists or really whatever y'all want to talk about at this point.
Nicole, I think that was a beautiful display of exactly kind of the thought process and, what students should be thinking. And I like that it's funny, it's Valentine's Day, and that's the theme we're using, but it really is very similar to dating. It's very based on your vibe, how you connect with the people. Um, I had a couple things just for me personally that I took into consideration and maybe like some thoughts I had. One thing is that I kind of had to get over the hump of is if you didn't audition at a place, don't be afraid to rank them number one. I think, we do those audition rotations, you feel really comfortable at those programs, you know more about those programs, and it may seem a little risky if you're like, no, still this one, I'm still stuck on it. Like rank it number one. It's your gut feeling is going to be right in the majority of these situations. And if you got a feeling simply by a second look, which was my case, it probably was the right feeling, especially if you've had the opportunity to spend longer time at programs. So don't let that be a hindrance to your rank list. Um, Another thing is, if you didn't like a place, and I mean you didn't like a place at Nicole when she means that at the end, if you would rather soap than end up there, do not put it on your list. Like luckily, if you're watching this lecture and you're a prepared emergency medicine student, you probably do have some options here. Don't sell yourself short. If you don't want to end up somewhere, don't put it on your rank list because, things happen, and if it's an option, it'll be an option. Um, be picky, like I said, with like choosing places. You guys have options here. This is the rest of your life. This is 3 years of your life. Take things into consideration. I love thinking about food, thinking about parking. Look at the funding of your program. Are they sending people to conference? Are, people getting to do research projects? Are they going, and having wellness events? I think, especially coming from osteopathic programs, we're used to, a lot of these things out of pocket. You may be coming in with more student debt. So, finances was a really big thing for me. It's very refreshing to be at a program that can give me funding to do things where I don't really, have to pull my own thing for educational matters. Um, but yeah, and then when it comes to dividing your rank list and trying to decide these things, I feel like I had lists of, this is the level of program, this is how they do trauma, this is their rotations, this is, their salary. And I was trying to do all these variables, but really when it comes to like clinical things, faculty that can teach you. I'm happy Nicole stuck on the, clinical care faculty, faculty who are smart and are teaching you. Your didactic time is protective. Is it being used? Who's teaching you your emergency medicine skills? I think ultrasound, whether you like it or not, is going to be a very large part of our practice as, the next generation of emergency medicine docs. So a strong ultrasound curriculum, is something to look out for. It's part of my daily practice. It's part of my diagnostic criteria. Why I don't CTPE people because I can check if they have right heart strain. These are important things that matter. So ultrasound is big. Peds something to consider too. How is their peds exposure? This is just stuff that like being an intern now, it mattered. The ultrasound, the peds, getting trauma exposure, our numbers of our procedures are going to be going up. You will have to have pediatric resuscitations. You have to have pediatric intubations. Yes, a lot of these can be sim, but, getting these numbers and getting comfortable with doing procedures helps you regardless of where you want to go. I don't know if I want to end up academic. I might just want to jump into the community. I wanted to be at a place where I can feel comfortable putting in an art line, managing an airway, doing an ultrasound. Like these are the things that matter. So remember that all the little moving parts of this, there's a lot of them and you can try to be really systematic with it, but find the place where you feel comfortable becoming a good emergency medicine doctor, and it'll take you exactly where you need to be. And if it doesn't, We have a million resources. If that soap day comes and you need help, this is a great organization to come to. We've had people who have had to soap in the past. We've had lectures in the past that you can even look over the night before if you're someone who's nervous. This is not a longitudinal path. You may end up having to take a side quest, and that's fine. But we're here to help you with anything. And I think Nicole did a great job kind of laying things out, but it'll be great. This is like the best part. Once you click the button, you can just put your shoulders down. And like Nicole said, if you like, you don't want to press that button and feel like you regret something or you made a choice for somebody else or to make someone else happy. This is your training. You earn the right to click that button. You pass the exams, you put in the application, give yourself some credit and rank how you want to rank.
On the flip side of kind of what Sarah said about the like, if you really liked somewhere you auditioned, rank it number one, like feel confident. Also, don't feel like it's weird to rank somewhere that you like auditioned low. Like I did my number one was not somewhere where I auditioned. There was a place that I auditioned that I really was not a fan of, and so it ended up lower on my list. I think sometimes we're like pigeonholed into this like, well, I auditioned there and I should have really liked it. Or like I didn't audition there. They would never want me. Why would they want me? I wasn't there with them for a month. They had so many fourth years like spend time with them. Um, it's like you when you and the fourth years that are on here that have like thought about their rank list can like attest to the like you think up some really crazy stuff as you're making a rank list. You like make up all this stuff of reasons why places wouldn't want you, when there are a million reasons that places would be lucky to have you all as residents. And so it's really hard sometimes to remember like the positivity of how strong an applicant that you are, and just you just get in this place of like, well, why would they want me? They wouldn't want me. I didn't audition, or I didn't X, Y, and Z, or I didn't blah, blah, blah. You can really talk yourself into some like hard spots. And so find some people in your life during this time that can like really hype you up and remind you that like we're all super qualified because we're all type A medical students that are trying to match into residency now, which is the whole point of medical school. But we all have our unique strengths that make us really, really strong candidates, and that will make us really, really strong emergency physicians after training. And so remember that like at the very beginning of it, like you deserve to make your rank list how you want to make it because you deserve to go to every program that you've worked so hard to make your dreams come true for. So if you don't have anyone else in your life telling you that, like, hear me when I say it, like, you have worked so hard to get to this moment and you deserve to reach every goal that you've ever set for yourself, including ranking and matching at the program, of your dreams. Um, so I think it's really important to remember that, as like medical students and residents, we have terrible imposter syndrome, which really shows its head as we're making rank lists and things like that and making like big life decisions in the most crazy way. Um, but there are incredible people rooting for you, cheering for you, and just remember that we all really, really deserve the chance to be where we want to be and train where we want to train.
Nicole, there's a question in the chat for you.
Perfect.
Yeah, this is a good question. I feel like, you know, any, I think any bad vibe that you get on the audition trail, like you're gonna have your bad shifts, you're gonna have your good shifts, but there's certain things you should be looking for, bad vibes, red flags to not overlook. These are cultural things like people, speaking negatively about other residents, people not getting along on shift, the way people communicate to each other on shift, things that are going to cause you stress in your day to day. I promise you that, you're going to start getting into this, you're going to take on patients, things are going to get stressful. And I would rather a program where, they're not talking negatively to each other and we're all figuring it out versus one, where there's egos and there's even with staff too, like feeling comfortable enough to go to your staff. If you get a bad vibe from the attendings and the majority of them that you worked with, you're like, I don't feel really super comfortable. Like they kind of scare me when I always present to them. Like that's, tells you something about how open these people are when you're a resident. Everyone's going to give you their best face forward on interview day. But, if you got a feeling from a program on those 4 weeks with them, I wouldn't overlook it. People will have their bad days and no program's going to be perfect. Trust me, you walk in my ER and it does not look like Disneyland at all. It's something I was not expecting in my ER, but I know that when I go to shift, I got along with the people. I can laugh with them. I feel welcome there. I think those are the bigger things that matter. So it all depends. A bad shift versus, those big red flags, those kind of toxic cultural things that I promise you will make a bigger impact later on. Like if you get a bad vibe though, like don't be afraid to hit the red button. Like I had an audition where I didn't rank them and like that's okay. But like if you get a good feeling on the interview day, like see, how big those red flags actually were.
I would agree. I think any red flag is a red flag. I think if it's like a culture thing on like some one person said something weird, the only thing that I would maybe dismiss is if it was like a third year or like a graduating resident that like maybe you're not going to be spending a lot of time around. I do think it is sometimes really hard to make big decisions on a program when it's one or two people that are really kind of skewing your thought process. Um, I genuinely think like if you have some kind of off vibe about a program, I probably um I probably wouldn't like rank it super high. I just think like there are probably other programs that you don't have any red flags on. Um, but again, like it might be something that's like super specific. And if you wanted to talk about um like your specific interaction, I'd be happy to like chat with you about it. On the last slide has my email and my phone number. So if you like have like a sticky situation that you kind of wanted to like really, really talk through, I'm more than happy to do that.
Yeah, and like the senior thing too, like you're gonna have a couple like right like you're gonna have a couple people who you just don't get along with, but like really that intern class that you're the interns who are interns now who will be your second years. I mean, that transition from intern to second year is such a big jump. And then being a senior, like those are the people you're gonna be watching as second years and third years, who you're gonna be emulating your leadership at the head of the bed after. So like those people are really the ones to watch. So if it's a red flag with maybe a senior who's graduating or someone, like definitely look to that intern class because like I know that like we interact a ton with ours. Our seniors are leaving. Like they were great, thankfully, but if they weren't, they're gone.
Yeah, I
Like high
agree with
school.
that. I had a program that I like auditioned at that I loved the third year class. Like I loved them. We would have been such good friends. And I just didn't really like the interns. And I was like, I can't pick a program because I like the third years because by the time I get there, they're going to be gone,
Gone.
which
Yeah.
was depressing. But something to always remember, like when you're interacting with different people, like if you really like the current seniors, like unfortunately, they're going to graduate and leave.
Yeah. And like you will end up where you're supposed to be. Like you have a vibe checker for a reason. Like my program was my number one, but it was some of my people's number three. And like we're all freaking pumped. Like we love our class. We loved our program. Like everyone was like, I would have ranked this number one if I got it again. Like so like they really do a good job of getting you guys where you need to be.
I had another question. How do you balance ranking programs with better wellness versus residents who seem really prepared with lots of EM opportunities? That's a good question. I think there are some programs that do a really good job of both, which is kind of where I would point you of like looking for places that like put out. I I would also say that like the large majority of emergency medicine programs put out well-trained emergency medicine physicians. Um, all of the like programs have the same curriculum. You have the same like base of rotations that you go through. You have the same procedural requirements. There are some that like blow those requirements out of the water versus some that are like really like kind of struggling to get numbers. So while those are definitely things to take into consideration, I do really think resident wellness and resident support is something that was incredibly important to me. Hearing that like residents were hanging out outside of like scheduled didactic things, um, being able to like, we have like Fem and EM events that are sponsored like by my program. Like things like that, like the social aspect was really, really important to me, which is kind of the wellness in my opinion. I do think like Turley was saying, like educational dollars and things like that also in my mind is like resident wellness. Um, I just really wanted a place that like was really excited for me to work there and wanted to support me through it. Um, and I think that that says a lot about a program and again really helps your like day to day of like working in residency. Like I just got off an 8-day run of shifts. I felt incredibly supported by my faculty through all of that, by my co-residents. So many of my co-residents were like reaching out to me like, hey, you got this, keep going, like all this stuff. And so um, I think I personally would put wellness a little bit higher than like, oh, these people did like 500 central lines and 1,000 ultrasounds. Like, wow, that sounds great. And like you watch the pit and you love like the like big action and things like that. Like, I do think a lot of emergency medicine is the wellness and learning like the bread and butter and like you have to know the traumas and like the big things and stuff like that. But I think there's incredible utility to like maintaining your hobbies and your wellness outside of work so that you can show up to work and like be your best self to take care of patients. Um, so I think I would probably err on the side of wellness a little more than like the like crazy training places. But that's also more my personality than some other people's.
Yeah, I'm a psychopath, and I probably should have put wellness more at my forefront. My program does a great job at wellness, but like you have to know yourself and what you want. Like if wellness is something that you need and it is something we all need and like it may be more than others, like make sure you prioritize that. But like I was big into like wanting a place. Like I'm only doing this for 3 years, like might as well just push myself. And I wanted a place where I was going to be pushed a little bit more. And that's my prerogative. And that shouldn't be yours if it's not yours. Like we will become the same exact ER doc. I just wanted, I like that more fast, urban, high volume acuity. Like that's my jam. Like I like the chaos. I like the pairs in the hallway. Like that's just how I like to learn. Um, so I think if you're, don't shy away if you're one of those people who's like, I like when residents are like, man, like I did 15 central lines this month. Like sick, dude. Like if that's your thing, that's your thing. Make sure it's healthy though. Like Nicole said, like make sure when we do get slammed, like after a recess shift, like my chiefs reach out to us and they're like, Sarah put in this line and so did this. Like great job tonight, guys. Like we got wrecked. Like that was horrible, but like we did it. So if you're going to a place that is kind of flaunting those things like high procedures, high trauma, like we're getting the bread and butter dirty, GSW, gun and knife club, make sure it's a place that's supported and it's not a place where the residents are burnt out. If the residents are excited about these things and saying like we're getting tubes, we're getting traumas, like that's a good sign. If they're like, yeah, like we're really heavy ICU, like we do a lot of lines, like shifts are really busy, sickest of the sick. If you're getting a negative attitude off of that, it's probably not the best thing in that program. So see how the residents talk about these things, see how it's kind of marketed. If it's marketed as a rite of passage and kind of like a hazing, probably not the best. If it's something that's exciting and people feel that they can do within the realm of their shift and feel comfortable and are excited to get procedures on shift, probably more of a positive thing. Any other like any specific questions if anyone like I know like we didn't really talk about third year, fourth year. I don't know if you guys saw that statement by ACGME, but there's like putting it on the table but not making decisions, which pretty much means, in my opinion, that it's not going to happen within the next 2 to 5 years. I think that if anything, they're probably going to like start pushing for things or seeing how, increasing procedure requirements go. But I just don't think our infrastructure in healthcare right now can survive kind of a 3 or fourth year shift and kind of the attitudes of emergency medicine behind that. That's just my opinion from someone who's trying to be like pretty on top of what the literature and everyone's been talking about. But if that's kind of in your consideration within you guys' 3 year span coming up, maybe consider it moving it to the back of your consideration. That would just be my advice on 3 year, fourth year if you're concerned. Now, if you kind of are okay with doing a fourth year program, like that still is a great opportunity. Just make sure to see how that fourth year is handled. I think those are like the other big considerations. Third year, fourth year, we talked kind of about like training site and important things.
Yeah, I'd say I think I'm sure a lot of those big things like you considered like as you were like applying to places and like the big things are like trauma level and community versus like academic and how much money you make and all those kind of things. And I think all of those things are important and like kind of what Sarah was saying, like if you want to go to like, inner city, high volume, crazy trauma, stuff like that, like then rank those programs
Mhm.
higher. Um, but kind of like we've been talking about this whole time, it really, 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 really boils down to what is most important to you in your training. If you walked up to me and you were like, Nicole, I want to go to a place that, they really support residents and I get a food stipend and free parking and da da da, all this stuff. Like those are the things that are important to you. You can also walk up to me and say, I want to go to a place where every day I feel like a dumpster fire and I am doing an incredible amount of procedures and I end my shift and I have so many notes to write because I've seen so many patients that I haven't done any charting during shift. Like there are places for that too. Um, they're not for everybody, which is the whole reason why there are so many programs and why we each have our own decisions and we each get to make our own decisions on where we want to go. So at the very, very bottom, if we boiled it down to like my biggest recommendation is figuring out what your priorities are, figuring out a place that you would be the most happy at and ranking that number one. That's like if I had to boil it down to one piece of information, that is what I would go with.
I think this is probably a really good question
Yeah.
um, to kind of end on this kind of preparing for emotions and actual match day preparation. I mean, I know that schools will have things where, they have match day parties. My school wasn't something that did that. Um, but I think the biggest thing is number one, like know yourself. I think like this isn't something that's talked about. You're just expected to be happy on match day and want to go to the school event and want to do all this thing. Know yourself. I wanted to be just with my close family and friends. I didn't want to, just in case something happened, I wanted to be around those people, and that was what I chose to do. I think kind of preparing yourself for emotions, at the end of the day, you're going to be an ER doctor. Some of the most are, leading, and I only say this because she's very open about it, our leading EMRA president to be soaked into emergency medicine, and she's one of the most successful EM residents that I know. Um, so whatever the outcome is, whether it's your top program, whether it's your fourth program, just be happy you know that you matched, you made it, everything worked out the way it was supposed to do, and go into that with an open mind. There's going to be a lot of people on this day who are upset, a lot of people who are comparing. So don't feel like you need to do this big celebration. If you need to keep it private, keep it private. But at the end of the day, be proud of whatever the outcome is, because at the end of the day, you're getting a degree and you will match if you soap, whether it takes one try, two tries. But you didn't start this journey just to, end it so quickly after one match process. And that was kind of the way I thought of it too. I'm like, I'm already here. Like, this is just the next step. I can wait a little longer if I need to. If it's not perfect, I can make it perfect at where I'm at. But I think just surrounding yourself with the right people for that ceremony is important. It's something that's not talked about. So don't feel pressured to go to the big friend thing if you don't feel comfortable. This is your match day. It's your, medical education coming to a close. And it's something you should celebrate. Like, look at Nicole. She's so cute.
Um, I do think that there is also like the place of like feeling every emotion that comes with match day. Like if it is not what you were hoping for and what you were expecting, like I do think there's like utility of like it is a job, it is the next step. I can work wherever I want as an attending, those kind of things. But I do think it's also important to like give yourself time to process the like Valentine's Day, for lack of a better word, like the heartbreak that comes with like not getting what you thought you wanted. I do think that it really works out. There are several people I know that didn't like end up at their top one through five. And looking back are like really glad that it worked out the way it worked out. I genuinely don't understand how the algorithm works, but I do think that it really works in the favor of the applicant and really puts you at a place that you like will thrive at. It might not have been a place that you were like looking at and you get there and suddenly it has all of these things that you didn't remember writing down that really align with like what you want out of life. But I do think there's like the utility of taking a minute, taking a step back and being like, okay, this didn't go how I wanted. I'm a little upset about it. Um, but like it'll all be okay. I also agree with Sarah. We had like friend things in the afternoon and I was very much so like I will be there depending on if I feel like going or not. I know myself, I am very much so if I did not get my number one rank list, it would have been like the end of the world for me. Um, Not that that's like how it should be for everybody. That's just who I am as a person. I like set a goal, and if I don't make it, it's very overwhelming. So I am very, very glad that it went the way it went. But I like knew that about myself and knew what I needed to set up for that day based off of like what was happening. So I think a big thing again is like knowing what you need, what people you need around you, and like how you need to like work through that um, as like you go through match day.
Yeah, and
But
if you
yeah,
want to pop off, pop off. Like
that's
if
what I'm
you want to
saying.
celebrate and have a big party, pop off. There are people I know that had like whole banquets for their match day. Like if that's your vibe, if that's your thing, pop off. You deserve it. Any other questions? This is a really fun time. Don't get caught up in the stress after you submit that list. You cannot, go back on it. So just drop it. Spend some time to reflect, spend some time to celebrate and relax. Match day will be here before you know it. So we're also always here to kind of support if you have last minute questions or more specific questions where we don't want to talk on the recording or don't want to talk, specific program stuff, reach out to us. We can give you kind of our perspective if you need. But Nicole's email's there. She's a great resource. She'll tell it how it is, and I use her for a lot of my advice. So she's a good one to go to.
Yeah, it's my email and my cell phone number, so feel free to email or text. I'm happy to chat through anything. Bradley, we can stop the recording.
You got it. Thank you very much, Dr. Gentili and Dr. Turley, for offering your time. I'll go ahead and stop it.